He worked for 4.5 years with the University of West Indies in Barbados as a director of a graduate project management program and 13 years in Indian Oil Corporation Limited, India as a project executive. He has a bachelor in mechanical engineering from Jadavpur University, Kolkata, India, masters in industrial engineering and management from Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok, Thailand, and doctoral degree in production engineering from Jadavpur University. He specializes in low carbon supply chain management and project management. He has extensively published in the international refereed journals, mostly in IEEE Transaction in Engineering Management, International Journal of Production and Operations Management, International Journal of Production Economic, European Journal of Operations Research, Supply Chain Management, International Journal Energy. He is a visiting professor of Rouen Business School and Toulouse Business School in France, University of Deusto in Spain, University of South Australia, University of Bamberg in Germany, and University of Vienna in Austria. He is the founder co-editor of the International Journal of Energy Sector Management. He has published more than 100 research papers in the leading international refereed journals. He has accomplished several research projects funded by Ford Foundation, Research Council, UK, British Council, West Midlands Manufacturing Advisory Services. His industry clients include Jaguar Land Rover, Rolls-Royce, JCB, L'Oreal, NHS, Britain's Carpet, Cimex, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Kuwait National Petroleum Company, and Unocal. The research interests include what are the research areas where he has been involved. They are to Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Government of Barbados, India, Government of Barbados, then Unocal, Thailand, Cimex, UK, managing operational and project risk in oil and gas industry, project management, service operations management, supply chain management, total quality management, and Six Sigma, environmental management, applications of multi-criteria decision making in industry. These include his research interest. He has been teaching in different capacity in his own university and beyond that, total quality management, project management, supply chain management, total quality. These are the codes like managing projects. With this profile, men originally from India, we are really proud of you, sir. Looking at your profile, I was privileged to have a meeting with you in 2006 when I was there in Birmingham. First time I met you, and then after that, virtually we are meeting here. Though in between, uh, you have evaluated one of my PhD scholars' work, and coincidentally, that PhD scholar is in this group also, whose PhD work you have evaluated way back in 2013.
Mhm.
With this background, I would like to take 1 minute time, Professor Prasant, to introduce my group. This program is being organized under AICT's initiative, All India Council for Technical Education's initiative. They call it ATAL. This ATAL is AICT Training Learning Academy, and this is nationwide. This academy is funding programs to be conducted for all faculty members. The idea is that every faculty member should be updated with the cutting edge technology for transforming to their student. This program, we got 152 participants registered that I've shared with you before also during our interaction. And they are from all different disciplines. They are from mechanical, production, electronics, electrical, computer science, pharmaceutics, then even management also. So I believe that you are going to have a very good time talking to this interdisciplinary group. With these words, I would take this opportunity to once again welcome you on behalf of the Institute, MNIT Bhopal, your own country, and my department, Mechanical of Engineering, Mechanical department, and the participants. Thank you very much. My another coordinator, Professor PM Mishra, is also there. So we both take this opportunity to welcome you to the program and request you to please carry on with your session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bimalesh, for introducing me and taking so much time to really take pain to really go through all my, salient points. That's great, and that helped, I guess, to the participants to know about me. But what I would do that through our interactions, I would try to really bring my experience, share my experience. Okay, so first of all, good afternoon to all of you, and good morning from the UK. And thank you very much for having me. And special thanks to go to Bimalesh that he recollects our interactions and reminds about me and invited me to really talk to you. This is really a privilege to share my experience with you. And I guess that many of you are early career researcher and would be quite interested to know not only about the topic that I would be covering today, technology for circular economy within small and medium-sized enterprises, a system approach. Okay, other than that, perhaps you might be interested in learning about how to undertake impactful research. That's the thing I would like you to share. That's my experience. Do ask me questions. I know that it's not a very conducive environment through which you could really interact. We are all virtually meeting. So it's very difficult to really raise hands and stop my presentation and ask questions. I would request, perhaps you are following it, request to carry a pen and paper with you. Whenever you find something interesting and something, some questions arise on your mind, and then just put it down into black and white, and you can always send me email. My email address is here. So I would try to really cover too many things. I would say I'm giving you a bit of cautionary statement here. Perhaps some of the things will be a bit of rush, and slide will look a bit busy. Some information will not be really clarified. So, but make a note of it. My email would be there, and trust me, I will respond to your email. Now, these interactions, I would say that I would try to really disseminate my understanding, but equally, I'm keen to really learn from you. So if I don't hear from you back, then my learning will not be there. Okay, so please do help me by writing back to me on your understanding of the topic, feedback, sharing your thoughts, your experience. That will help. It's really pity that I don't know you, and there would be very less chance of knowing you in the due course as well. But I will appreciate if you communicate to me. I will kick off by giving you some, interesting, and daunting statistics about why this topic is important. Okay, we all know about food, but how much we know about food waste? Okay, I will begin with that. UK being a developed country, UK is the highest producer of the food waste in among the European countries. Okay, followed by Germany, and a staggering average of 14 million ton of food waste generated every year in the UK. 14 million ton, and 40% of which land into landfill. Okay, despite of UK having so many means of converting food waste to value-added product, food waste to energy. Okay, so while food waste go to landfill, it produces methane, and methane is 20 times worse than CO2 for global warming. 20 times, I'm telling you, and this is fact. Okay, so there is something wrong somewhere. About India, very, very alarming things. I would say 40%. Every Indian household produces 50 kg of food waste. Okay, per person every year. Okay. So you and 40% of the food produced in India is wasted. 40% of that's the figure, and it's not my research. It's there in the internet. You Google it, you will get that. And how much money we are losing, in India. The value of the food in India is. Sorry, can I request
Slide is
to
not moving.
unmute?
Slide is not moving.
No slide.
Slide.
I'm not moving the slide. And
Thank you.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So the other information is the value of the food wastage in India is around 92,000 crores per annum, and 190 million Indian remain unnourished. Okay, so these are the figures from various studies. No, it's not my research. So you can well see that importance of circular economy. So circular economy is the solution for that. So you can, well, from the statistics, you can really think of, writing a research questions for your study. It's not difficult. So finding out why this is happening. So what is circular economy? No, I'm not able to move my slide. Let me see. Sorry, there might be some issue here. Yeah, now it's moving. Okay, sorry for that. So circular economy might be the solution. What is circular economy? Circular economy is a paradigm shift from traditional linear make, use, and dispose to circular, which is take, make, use, distribute, use, and recover. So from linear to circular, with the principle of reduce, reuse, and recycle, with equal emphasis on economic, environment, and social aspect. So that's circular economy. The principle of circular economy is to really keep the resources within the cycle always. So let's have a look into the this is okay. So this is the example of a closed loop supply chain. A very popular thing is textile and clothing industry, clothes. We can see that through forward logistics, we get clothes coming out from cotton or any other materials or combination of that, and we use it. And generally what we do, we throw it to the bin, or it gets into the next level of recycling. And it could really be brought into the raw material, and it could really remain within the cycle by integrating the forward and the reverse logistics. We call it closed loop supply chain, and that will promote the zero waste within the system. Okay, so that's the thing we need to really look at. Now, although there are studies, or there are approaches, and there are initiatives within larger companies, small and medium-sized enterprises have not been really taken or given opportunities to really achieve that. So our studies are really concentrating on contribution or effort small and medium-sized enterprises are making to make the supply chain closer. Okay, closed loop one. So you can well see that thing. If you think of any industry supply chain, there will be larger companies, there will be smaller companies, and combination of the network of companies working together. It's not a cycle. It's rather a network of company. Okay, they are connected through the customers and the supplier relationship. So small and medium-sized enterprises are very significant in any industrial chain. Why? Because small and medium-sized enterprises make up around 90% of the world business, and they employ 50 to 60% of the world population, contribute 20 to 30% to the GDP. Okay, in the UK, small and medium sized, there are 6 million small and medium sized enterprises today. They employ 16 million people and contribute around 48% to the GDP. Quite a huge contribution. If we look into the developed country, India, okay, 48 million SMEs today. If we include MSME, micro, then we will find it is close to 63 million. Okay, we define small and medium-sized enterprises in India from 10 to 49 employees. Okay, or small and medium-sized enterprises. Okay, and lower than that would be micro. So our study is limited to small and medium-sized enterprises. And India's SME sector has been one of the primary drivers of its economy, as you all know. The sectors contribute heavily to the GDP, and it's quite likely to increase to 30%. Okay, say by 2025. That's government target. The SME contribute more than 45% of India's industrial output, 40% of the country's total export, and create 1.3 million jobs every year. But there are negative pictures also. These are very positive. SME as a whole contributes to the nation, contributes to the GDP, part and parcel of every supply chain. You won't get any industrial supply chain without small and medium-sized enterprises. And I've seen, big retail as well as OEM, original equipment manufacturer, their second tier, definitely third and fourth tier companies are SMEs. Even some, second tier companies are small and medium-sized enterprises. So, and they contribute high technology, okay, to the automotive industry, to the aerospace industry, so on and so forth. But the negative impact is also quite substantial. Okay, although individually it looks that SMEs contribute very less to the environmental pollution, but cumulatively their contribution is substantial. 70% of the global pollution is contributed by small and medium-sized enterprises, especially if you look into the manufacturing sector. Okay, 64% of the air pollution is contributed. But scary part of it, only 0.4% of these SMEs complies with an environmental management system. That's the scary part of it. Okay, if you look into the whether they have good environmental management system, you'll find very little. If you look into having ISO 14000 certification, SA 8000 certification, very less company, even in developed country like UK. Okay, I have experience in working with many European countries, so I've seen the similar approach. Okay, so I've done a number of comparative analysis between India and the UK, India and the other countries like Thailand, Vietnam. I will explain as we go. SMEs are responsible for more than 50% of the industrial pollution in the Asia Pacific region. 8 out of 10 pollution incident in the UK is been done by the SMEs as per UK environmental agencies. Another interesting fact, I got it from some literature. Okay, SME consume 13% of the total global energy demand. Okay, and there is a scope of reducing it by 30%. And if we could do that, it could save, energy that is being really consumed by Japan and Korea together. So very interesting statistics, So the thing is, we could really do quite a few things. Another important statistics, came to my mind that I thought I would be sharing. As regards food waste, in India, one thing happened that, that our landfills are really, really in bad shape. Okay, and the 20% of our landfill is full of, food waste. So you can well see that if we could really simply handle the food waste, which is possible, if, with the principle of the reduce and reuse, and we could really convert this food waste to value-added product. I will show you through, in the due course, through examples, projects that we are doing it in India and other countries. Okay, so overarching aim of this presentation is to really showcase you our project within small and medium-sized enterprises that we are undertaking to adopt circular economy, not only in India, but also in the UK and the other European countries, okay, and the countries in other continent as well. So that's the thing we would be doing it. So overarching question that we are trying to really address, that how do we do it? So at the end of this presentation, you must have a good understanding that how could we really adopt circular economy within, not only in small and medium-sized enterprises, but all across the supply chain and society in general. So we take away a basic understanding of implementing it, and then try to really develop research question out of it and undertake research. And that helps not only to write academic paper, but also contribute to the beneficiary, to the society. That's the thing we would be trying to really take out from today's presentation. So I will give a quick perspective of the different project that we are undertaking. So, the thing is, what I would, say here, as an academic, your contribution, yes, you could really disseminate by writing academic paper, but your contribution should be really visible to the society. So think of that, what you could really, from your learning, what you could contribute to the society. With that in mind, we started working all across the world. You can well see that first group of countries are in Asia and Pacific. Australia, we are working along with India, Thailand, Bangladesh, Vietnam, United Arab Emirates. In Europe, definitely United Kingdom, Austria, France, Spain, Greece, Malta. I'm talking about the work that we have already done or undertaking, not the future. There are future projects also with some other countries and the continent. And Kenya and Ghana, Africa, last 2 years have started working with these two countries. And Mexico, Brazil, Barbados, and Trinidad. Dr. Vimalesh presented that, I worked in Barbados, University of West Indies. I'm connected to University of West Indies, Trinidad and Tobago as well. So quite a bit of work we have undertaken, and this work on circular economy adoption within small and medium-sized enterprises or in across the supply chain. And we developed industry academia collaboration. We formed multidisciplinary team. It's not possible by one person, not possible physically, even with our ability, because we have limited knowledge. We need to really collaborate with other researchers. Okay, so in our team, we have people from engineering background, social science background, economics background, as well as health. Okay, the health aspect, mental health, the physical health, health and safety, they are also connected to the entire, circular economy aspect. Social aspect is an important part of business, as you all know. So that we need to really also consider while we undertake any projects. Now, first project that I would be sharing with you is the comparative analysis of SMEs in two countries, okay, India and the UK. And we try to really look into that. And this study we have done in 2015 and looked into what motivates SMEs to become environmental and social friendly. Okay, what environmental performance targets are they making? What methods are being used for achieving the desired environmental and social performance, sustainability performance as a whole? So these are the fundamental questions we try to really ask. We looked into that, whether they vary with the company sizes, whether they vary with the turnover or industry, geographic locations, so many control variables we try to really look at. So the methodologically, we try to really understand from the secondary researches, mainly from the literature, that what has been written on that. Like here, you can well see that what motivates SMEs to adopt circular economy. That means whether they are self-motivated, okay, whether it has been really pressurized by the customers and suppliers, or it has been really regularized by the government or the policy maker. Okay, what sort of role they are really placing, or that sort of thing. What are the different environmental targets they are really making? Okay, again, keep in mind about the control variables. The monitoring method, various type of method being used. Okay, ISO 14000 to the eco-literacy to eco-design and circular economy as well. Okay, lean practices, all sort of things we try to really look at. And this paper got published in Journal of Cleaner Production, and I have already made these papers available for detailed reading. I will give you a quite snapshot of the findings. Excuse me. So motivation for SMEs in the UK, and as I told, that comparative analysis, geographic location, developed and developing economy and perspective. So UK and India to consider the environmental impact and CSR, corporate social responsibility. Greatest motivation for SMEs to consider CSR comes from the moral duty, and the greatest motivation for SMEs to consider the environment comes from the legislation. So that's the thing we observed. You can well see in our right hand, we have lots of findings with respect to firm image, market opportunities, moral duties, and other things. And UK CSR, Indian CSR, UK environment, India environment, loads of things have been really displayed. You can have a quick look. I'm not really discussing everything here, but the other aspect is the level of pressure. Highest pressure for considering the environment comes from government. Highest pressure for considering CSR comes from customers. Okay, so that these are interesting things. Again, you could really see the detail how it varies from country to country. And there are other things like industry and all sort of aspects. Here you can well see an interesting thing, that if I pick up the environmental audits as a method being used in UK and India, the blue is India and green is UK. So environmental audit is being used more in the UK by UK SMEs compared to India. Only 30% having environmental audit. Surprisingly, you can see that ISO 14000 in Indian SMEs are bare minimum, not very great in the UK as well. So ISO 14000 is becoming mandatory in many countries, and the export-oriented SMEs are required to really adapt to in manufacturing, required to undertake that. So you can well see that in the UK and India, 90% and 81% respectively of business believed that they consider their impact on the environmental and climate change. So that is a good thing to really see it. They believe on that. Although the study is in 15, so if I consider that thing 10 years before, that would be bare minimum. But perhaps if we do it now, we could really see a bit more companies are interested on it. India SMEs have more environmental target, but fewer methods for monitoring their performance. That's a really good thing to see that things are really becoming better. Okay, so SMEs in India are more engaged with CSR than SMEs in the UK. That is a quite surprising fact. You can well see that blues are really doing better than greens. Okay, in quite a few places it is 100%. The reason for which is the system is so tuned out here with the manufacturing supply chain with the small and medium-sized enterprises. They don't need to really go a bit beyond. So that is why the way they responded appears like that. So that doesn't mean that UK SMEs do less CSR compared to India. But India is doing really well. That's really good to see. Okay, so overall what we have seen that the problem of the SME, the characteristics of SME's business, that is coming out in a nice way. There are similarities, there are dissimilarities. In terms of similarities, we could really see that the company, all the SMEs are between, rather sandwiched between two larger companies, both in demand and supply side. So they have a very tough time okay, in both the countries. And we have seen that the demand part of the UK companies are more challenging than the Indian SMEs, because Indian SMEs have assured public sector market, okay, which UK companies don't have that. Okay, skills shortage is a major problem. Process maturity is less. They emphasize more on efficiency, less on responsiveness in terms of environmental and social friendliness. Okay, employee well-being part is a bit less in SMEs because they require to really cut corner everywhere, highly competitive demand part of it, and quite a bit of inefficient processes, less awareness definitely, and policymakers help as well as customers and suppliers cooperation is less. So that sort of attributes we have seen which are really common. So I would now really get you, a couple of examples, case studies of the work of circular economy adoption that we have undertaken. To start with India, we have collaborated, and this work we have started in, I would say, in early 2010, through British Council funded project. Two back-to-back projects we have done, and our collaborator was Jadavpur University in the eastern part of India, as well as IIT Delhi and IIT Kharagpur. So we collaborated with the Federation of Small and Medium-Sized Industry. This is a consortium of small and medium-sized enterprises. They have around 5,000 small and medium-sized enterprise and trade bodies with them. And we worked very closely with 30 SMEs, other than undertaking survey among the small and medium-sized enterprises. And the process we have adopted to transform we didn't start with the circular economy adoption. This time circular economy terminology was not there or very new, or it didn't come into our research focus. We looked into more from the sustainability perspective. Okay, but we sometimes try to really say that maybe circular economy is new wine, old wine in new bottle. Okay, so I will not really make any differentiation between the sustainability approach or green supply chain or the circular economy part of it. They are all same. Okay, so the thing is, we try to really look into the process like this, doing the process re-engineering approach. Okay, undertaking the process re-engineering approach by mapping the supply chain, okay, and derive the sustainability performance. Where are they in terms of their economic, social, and environmental performance, and identifying issues and challenges, set up target, derive enablers, then try to really develop business model out of it. Okay, cost benefit analysis, develop project planning, a part of it. I'm not going there. You might have known about it, and then try to really implement the enablers, evaluate it, and see how it works, and then develop model companies and showcase it through workshop and that, and help others to really adopt it. We have worked directly with 30 small and medium-sized enterprises, but many companies got benefited. And recently, FOSME invited me to join on their board, and I have accepted their offer, and I'm working with them to implement circular economy across their consortium. And subsequently, very recently rather, we have collaborated with Gitam in Vizag. Many of you might be knowing Gitam, Gandhi Institute of Technology and Management. We got a Royal Academy of Engineering funding to work with them to implement and foster culture of adopting circular economy within Indian SMEs. So we collaborated with IIM Trichy, as well as some international partner from Bangladesh, as well as Thailand. We additionally got funding from GCRF, which is Global Challenge Research Fund, to help these countries to adopt circular economy in their supply chain. So we took the similar approach, but modified it a bit in terms of developing training material as well as developing a web-based platform and different app so that it goes to the small and medium-sized enterprises to apply it objectively, and they can really do themselves. So we have done a number of programs to really get there. As we move, I will keep on explaining that. So what I'm trying to really tell here, that it is working, with the industry very closely, okay, and explaining them what exactly we want to really do and learning from them. The research impact cannot really come from our work alone. They require to really buy in. So we require to really take our research finding to them, and we require to really listen from them that what problem they are facing, and then develop theory so that we could really go there. I will come to that theoretical part of it. You might be asking that whatever I'm talking about is more practice. Okay, where is the theory? And you will get there. And then if you are not getting the question, answered, then you can really ask me. Okay, so let's move on. Now you will get a bit of flavor of, theory. This work we started working with UK company. As you can well see, I live in UK since 2004, and I have a very good contact with the small and medium-sized enterprises in West Midland. I am based at Birmingham, which is the central part of Britain, and which is the hub of UK manufacturing. UK manufacturing still contribute 12 to 13% to the GDP, which is likely to really increase to 15%. Okay, and they have a very strong, manufacturing supply chain. Okay, there are Jaguar, Land Rover, Rolls-Royce type of companies, big company, and they are world leading in technology. Okay, so and there's a very strong supply chain also. And I got the opportunity to expose Indian SME owners and the managers to come over here and physically see it. How are they really doing it? And many companies have, adopted quite a few technology from here. And I will give you examples. The company that who have done it well, and they have through their case studies. And if you look into our website, you will be able to really see their approaches. And we have developed impact case from their successes. So there are loads of practical contribution here. Okay, so going to the bit of theory, as I started saying that circular economy is the making the value chain rounded off. Okay, closed loop. So take, make, distribute, use, and recover, making it in a cycle. We try to really understand that how circular are those value chain components. Okay, that means, if you pick up the procurement, are you really following all the circular economy principle for procurement, manufacturing, distribution, okay, consumption, as well as the reverse logistics? Okay, so that's important part of it. So that's the relationship you could really see here. I do not know whether you can see my cursor. I do not know how do I use pen here, so I'm not really making any guess here so that I don't mess it with the presentation. So you can well see that we try to really understand that, and we develop all sort of subconstruct proxies on that, and we develop a statistical model so that we could establish the correlation, and we applied structure equation modeling and understand, and that gives us a circularity performance measurement model, very theoretical model. And we have published this in business strategy and environment, and this paper is available to you. You could really look into the theoretical model that we have used here. And I would keep on emphasizing on the practicalities of it throughout my presentation, keeping the theoretical part, which I think you are expert on, you could really read in my paper. Okay, so the diagnostic to reveal, the step one is the diagnostic is to reveal the circular economy practices within a system. So this tool could be used anywhere. You get a sample and get the information, use AMOS, see that the correlation, and you would be able to really understand that how are they related and where they are doing better, where they are doing less. And this is a perceptual survey you have to keep in mind. And then you might really require to really get validated through few case studies or interviews or focus group. Okay. Step 2, issues and challenges. You try to really get that. Okay, what are the external challenges? What are the internal challenges? What are the different? Okay, I will address those. What are the different opportunities involved there? And the step 3 is the critical success factor. Okay, we try to really identify strategies, resources, and the competence that company needs to really build in across those value function. Okay, so we could really get our supply chain organized by these 3 simple steps, and which gives not only the analyzing the current state, but also finding out the solution, and you could really implement it and get the benefit out of it. And this paper got published in Business Strategy and Environment, and you could have a look and see that. And I will quickly show here the results of the UK SMEs. As you can see that all the take, make, distribute, consumption, and recovery is connected to the economic performance, correlated to economic performance. That means that every function is designed and being operated, implemented and operated for achieving the economic performance. They are not for the environmental and social performance. Okay, that's scary part of it. Only make and use are quite really balanced. That means production and consumption. People are aware, both in the industry as well as in the society, they are making the balance. Okay, but what they are not able to really, there are room for improvement in take, distribute, and recovery part of it. And that's the thing that is not really acceptable, that reverse logistics needs to be really improved, so that we know we not only reduce our waste, but also can handle the waste, because there would be some waste always. There would be plastic waste, there would be food waste, but how do we really recycle it? Okay, but we need to really think of the reduction of it also. And the scary figures that I discussed, I explained, introduced at the beginning. Okay, so okay, I will take another around 20 minutes before allowing you to really ask me questions. And is it okay? Or otherwise I will reduce my presentation a bit. Is it okay if I allow you around 20 minutes to ask me question? Anybody can respond quickly? Yeah, at this stage.
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, let's look into some of the work that we have undertaken in the UK. Quite a few impactful work. You could really see the 2 highlights here: low carbon SMEs, and you can look into our website to see that what is really been done and how practical it is. Again, I'm emphasizing on the practicalities part of it without giving without losing the attention on the theoretical part of it. I would keep on touching those points as we move on. So another is supply chain innovation. I will begin with the second one, supply chain innovation. I do not have any specific slide on that. So that's why let me give you the perspective here. We are working with 112 SMEs in East Midland. East Midland is the hub of UK transport sector. Companies like Toyota, East Midland Train, Bombardier, then Rolls-Royce, this type of companies are there, and they have a very big supply chain. So we have been given a project from European Commission. We call it European Regional Development Funding, which has gone after Brexit, to help small and medium-sized enterprises to be competitive. Okay, sustainable competitiveness, we call it. And you could get information about this project through this website. I will give you a very brief perspective. Again, the theoretical part, we develop a comprehensive and consolidated robust framework for measuring competitiveness, where we picked up 4 major factors. They are leadership agility. Okay, human aspect, people aspect, leadership agility, then excellence in quality, sustainable supply chain, okay, and innovation in operations and logistics. Okay, and this came from a very much primary research within by involving all selected stakeholders across the supply chain of the transport sector of East Midland companies. So we engaged SMEs also, but this has been designed for the SMEs. And we had subcontract and we had proxies for that. And we interviewed their CEOs or the owners, and we try to really see that where they are in terms of their performance and qualitative type of work. But we applied from their qualitative things, qualitative responses. We applied a quantitative model called ANP, Analytic Network Process, and we came out very objectively what needs to be done in order to improve their performance. And then we added another layer. Okay, just getting into the project they would be undertaking, the cost benefit analysis of the improvement measures, and then implementing it, and then evaluate it, and then see, going back after 1 year and seeing that whether they really got the benefit out of it. Okay, like that we have helped a number of companies, and we got we have seen that their performance have been much better. Now I will explain in a bit depth about the low carbon SMEs, which I'm leading this project. This project is funded by, again, European Regional Development funding. It's a 6 years project, still continuing 27 to 2023. And we have a mandate to work with 165 companies, and our target is to reduce 7 ton average per company per annum. Okay, totaling 1,125 ton of CO2. I will give you a perspective. 10 ton of CO2 is equivalent to planting 30 trees, and 10 ton of CO2 is equivalent to 1 UK household's yearly CO2 consumption. Okay, and energy equivalent type. Okay, CO2 equivalent. Okay, energy consumption, CO2 equivalent. Okay, so that was our target. Till date, we have done 87 SMEs, and looking into the performance as of now, we could, instead of 7 ton, we could, in average, could save 40 ton. So we're quite likely that 40 ton per company per year. So quite likely we would be able to really reduce carbon footprint, total carbon footprint, almost 6 times than what we have committed. Quite a bit of contribution. So the how the project looks like, what are we doing? We are undertaking a diagnostics study through objectively determining CO2 through energy consumption. Okay, we have a plan to add resource efficiency and the waste, but we didn't do it yet. But we are developing a tool to really undertake all these 3 aspects: resource efficiency, waste, as well as the energy part of it. Okay, we are doing workshops in order to disseminate our research findings and fostering an environmentally friendly cultures. And what we have seen, with what we have observed, other than the reduction of CO2, they are able to really reduce their production cost substantially. The capital part of it, I will give you the perspective, what are the transformation they are making. So, but the cost was, in an average, they are spending 20 to 25,000 pounds, which is, just convert it to lakhs. You could do that. It is 15,000 means 15 lakhs. Okay, 15,000 pound means 15 lakhs. Okay, so they are spending around 20 to 30 lakhs for the project, and 50% is being funded from government. Okay, so you could well see the perspective. Okay, and what we are doing, we are developing long-term relationship with them by helping them, as and when required. while they work with us, they become our member. They get access to our website. They get access to various tools, our diagnostic tool. They are learning how to really calculate CO2 emission. And we are now developing a tool dashboard type, which will enable the company to measure their carbon footprint, okay, and for their entire organization, their facilities, their supply chain, their product, and so that they could objectively determine where they could cut, short there. Okay, so that sort of work is being really undertaken. So you can well see that this diagram, I have explained that how the cycle works, and which is very, very easy and clear to really understand. You measure the carbon footprint, then set the target and find out the means for reducing the carbon footprint, implement it, and see the benefit, evaluate it. And what we have observed, along with the carbon footprint reduction and cost reduction, the companies who have worked with us, they have improved their business. They have growth, and their employee well-being has become better. Workplace become cleaner, which has indirectly helped them to be really productive, not only individually, but also company-wise. So there is a very positive impact. That's the thing. Yesterday, we have been invited by Scottish Parliament. Remember that we are based at England, and there are 4 countries in the UK. So our work was so much significant that we got called from the Scottish government. They are implementing circular economy as a Scottish government body manifesto, and we are helping them. So you can well see here that how the carbon footprint is being calculated. So it is not only within the company, but also one tier backward forward. So we got to really understand our suppliers, how are they really producing their product, how they really, how do we really get the product, the logistics, inbound logistics within our system, how do we really handle not only the production processes, energy consumption, but also the waste and the resource efficiency. So we have to really mindful about our inventory. I've seen there are horror stories of, small and medium-sized enterprises, how they really deal with the inventory, how are their awareness about the inventory. Okay, scale economy is a very important concept. Capacity utilization is also, there are many paradigms they believe on which are wrong. So we need to really work on that also. As an academic, we need to really bring that into perspective. So you can well see the cycle that are contributing to the lowering the carbon footprint. So various measures companies have taken in the UK. One is the improving their production part of it, okay, changing the equipment, changing the energy consumption bit of it, packaging bit of it, then various paradigm, okay, training their manpower, logistics, both inbound and outbound, selecting the customers, deriving the product, okay, eco-design concept, okay, 3D printing principle, lean approach, various type of technique and methodology, processes they have changed. So I will quickly give, perhaps not in detail, about a couple of companies, okay, that I have seen. Let me give example from one from India, one from the UK. Okay, I will. Unfortunately, I do not have the Indian company slide here, but I remember that so well, I would be able to really explain. This company is in the aerospace industry now, but they were not in aerospace industry at all before they started working with us in, say, middle of 2015 or 2016. We met this owner through a workshop in Jadavpur University, and sometimes he told me that story, I totally forgot, in 2013 or 14. And then he started working with us from 2015. And we still really regularly communicate. And I recently asked that how his company is doing during the COVID situation. And he told, he gave me a very, very good picture that how have they adopted in the pandemic situation and how are they still doing really good in terms of their productivity. So they are in the aerospace business, working very closely with Indian Defense as well as Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. and they produce component of helicopter. And what have they really done? They have benchmarked a company here called AE Aerospace, while this owner have visited in the UK. So AE Aerospace in the UK is a very pioneer company in the manufacturing supply chain, small and medium-sized enterprises, not far from where I am based at, Aston University. Excuse me. So they changed their layout, they trained their manpower, they have bought various new equipment, and they have very good rationale that why they will go for this equipment. And this guy developed a very strong relationship with this company and got all those understanding, and simply, replicate it or customize his approach through our diagnostics. So process re-engineering approach, train their manpower, look the thing in a very holistic way, and reduce carbon footprint, enhance model of the employees, reduce the employee turnover, trained young people, and build his empire. And this company have grown from 15% to now 95 people work in their company. So you can well see the business growth, employment growth, and that's the thing we are working for. So there would be both tangible or intangible outcome. Then I keep asking him, what did you learn from us? And this guy says that many things that I didn't know. One is definitely the technical skill, but the interactions, the working with the academia, working with the other company, and developing relationship with the customers and suppliers. That's sort of things that the takeaway of the company owner. You can well see that this company, which I'm showing here, Paint 360, they have 17 employees and 1.1 million pound turnover. They're based at West Midland. They use, by default, they are a green company. They use the recycled paint to convert it to the new, totally new paint. And with us, they have developed further, reduced their loss through the process, made their supply chain total circular, reduced the carbon footprint by 250 ton. Well, we'll say I said 50 average. They are a bit of outlier in terms of their carbon footprint reduction, and saved quite a bit of cost also, reduced their cost and enhance their performance. Another company, ESW Knowles, they manufacture doors, and they have adopted ISO 14000. Remember that we do detailed, thorough, diagnostics. We handhold them to identify the project. We do business case for them. We develop a detailed feasibility analysis and implement the project and work with them. Okay, all through the project, evaluate them after a year or so. And we observed that 32% carbon footprint reduction and reduction of cost around 16 lakhs, okay, production cost reduction, and quite a bit of improvement of their business growth, okay, in after 1 year. So that's sort of things we have really seen it. A bit of theoretical perspective of what work we are doing. We try to really look into traditional lean practices. Now, lean is more efficiency focused, but through lean, we could really achieve green also. So that's the thing we try to really argue. But there are few gray areas in lean approach where it is not that much environment friendly. Okay, if we totally follow the lean approach, it may not be, social friendly. Okay, it may not be too much, towards the people aspect, being really taken care of it, well-being part, I mean. Okay, so we brought a new terminology called sustainability-oriented innovation. What is sustainability-oriented innovation? Sustainability-oriented innovation is both in the environmental and social side. We need to really think of that. What is, we can really think of frugal innovation also, but the smarter innovation as well, using conversion as well as the information and communication technology. We try to really look at that. Okay, CSR practices are both environmental and the social part of it. And we try to really differentiate between these two by adding that very new things for them and the general practices that are really being followed. Okay, these are the two differentiation between CSR practices and sustainability oriented innovation, and that will lead to sustainability performance. We, although generally sustainability performance comprises of economic, environmental, and social part of it, but we try to really look into only environmental and social part here. And considering economic performance is the overall performance that we are trying to really get at, because most of the SMEs require to really perform, economically very well. Okay, so that's the thing we like to really look at. And what we found is here, you can well see, there are quite a positive relationship with all those things, as you could really see. Other than that, what does this mean? That means, they are in a trade-off situation. If you like to really enhance economic performance, your sustainability performance, the environmental and social performance is likely to really go down. And the other way around is true. So you need to really bring a balance between all these three things. So in order to really survive, in order to really, for the long-term survival, we need to really have a balance. That's the thing is coming up. So I would strongly suggest to read, our paper in British Journal of Management, which I have made available to you. But if you have any query on that also, you can ask that how are the construct related. I have given example of the case studies so that you can really physically understand it. As I told that all of my research, I have taken at least 4 layers of analysis. Okay, secondary data analysis, that means literature review. Then the statistical analysis. The third one is the focus group or interviews within the companies. And then going to the case studies so that it could be really triangulated properly and it could be really validated as well. And all this work are applied one. There are real data, okay, been used. So we have done this study through Qualtrics. Okay, Qualtrics got the data. They are world recognized, data provider. Okay, so the thing is, data has quite a good authenticity. Okay, so another study I would like you to quickly get exposed on the studies we have undertaken in Vietnam. And very recently, we have started a project, British Council funded by this project, also funded by British Council. One is with Thailand. I started telling about the food waste, and I would be giving at the end that what about the food supply chain, what work we are doing. But before that, with Vietnamese small and medium-sized enterprises, Vietnam has done very well, as you are aware, in last, continuing in these decades and throughout the last decades, they have a very strong 6 to 7% growth. Okay, but still they have huge issue. Here are those. Only 21% of SMEs are linked to the global supply chain. They record to really be like their neighboring countries, Thailand and Malaysia, which are 30 and 46% connected to the global supply chain. And if they are, collaborating with Thailand and China more, they will be able to really get their, competitiveness better, and they would be able to really reduce their cost of production by 20%. And the risk could also be really going down. Research and development in Vietnam is limited to the larger company. Smaller companies are still lacking on that. Okay, so certification, ISO 14000 or ISO 9000 are very, very, very less because less globalization. Collusion between SMEs management and the public officials are there. So it's a typical problem of, developing economy. Environmental performance of SMEs are still questionable. Okay, as out of 615 industrial cluster in which SME operate, only 5% have water treatment system. So quite scary part of it. And there's a lack of environmental management training program. Okay, mainly the environmental management is being done by the HR manager. So, in a developed country like UK, environmental management practices are done by the, top level technical people. Okay, SME perceives that environmental measures are cost intensive. That is true, but the thing is, we need to really think of the life cycle part of it. Okay, Technology wise, they have a lack of understanding of the technology, as I told you that the R&D part of it, and inefficient equipment and machineries are being used, okay, because they like to really reduce the capital cost, and it has been imported from Thailand or Malaysia, where they scrap that machinery. This is being really procured from there. Waste management is very poor, and it has been done by the third party. Inadequate technology, that sort of things are lacking within Vietnam. We started a project similar to our Royal Academy of Engineering funded project, in Vizag. We targeted to undertake survey, and then followed by closely working with 30 SMEs and developing 5 pilots within that, and developing number of training program, mentioned 10 training program, but provided planning to do more. We are collaborating with Hanoi University of Science and Technology as well as Da Nang University, and we are together we are working on developing a digitized platform, web-based platform, so as to really keep it beyond the project, so that the company get educated. Host would be leading on that, so that they have a website also ready, and web-based platform is ready for use. And this project will still continue till end of this year. And because of pandemic, our progress was a bit less, but still we did reasonably good work with a virtual platform and all. So we are contributing here in terms of, as I told, survey, focus group, case study, and action research through case study approach. What we have come out with the theoretical model, we brought into leadership, innovation, culture, skill, and competitive, competencies, looked into circular economy practices and the supply chain resilience. So that's a new thing, and we try to really look into how the existing practices are, how are these things are related, so as to really understand the perception of the managers and employees, so that we could really target that where we would be improving it. Remember that our approach is to understand the current state, and then working with the specific companies to really make the changes and developing a few pilot cases. Our initial findings are, although we have good correlation, but we found that the culture is not connected to resilience, to our surprise, and skill and competence are not really towards the circular economy practices. So that is a major takeaway, that in order to adopt circular economy within small and medium-sized enterprises, we need to really develop skill and competencies of the people, and then getting it validated with the company, and then adopting it and developing model things, working with the policymakers, as well as developing a strong industry academia collaboration. These are all the daunting tasks in order to really get the project implemented. That, remember that I told you that our main objective is to really look at how to adopt circular economy. So I will round it up at the end, coming to the first part of my presentation, where I tried to really emphasize on and started my discussions through the food supply chain. So recently we got a project in Thailand, again funded by British Council, with university, institute like Asian Institute of Technology. My alumni matter. I did my master's in industrial engineering from Asian Institute of Technology. So I have invited them to join us to deal with the food waste. We are looking into 3 main food: agriculture food, poultry food, and the seafood, okay, which are very, very, very famous in Thailand. And we try to really reduce the food waste. You can see that we have connected all the waste, where the waste is being generated. This is the conceptual framework that we have developed. Very high level supply chain map, as you can see that I'm not really explaining in detail here, because you can really make out of it. And we try to really understand that where are the constructs and how are the constructs related. Okay, at the right hand we have equity, security, as well as the sustainability, environmental and social sustainability. Okay, how are those constructs connected to all the upstream factor? Okay, in one hand, value chain, in the other hand, the supply chain, and various means for achieving the sustainability like resource efficiency, waste management, okay, renewable energy adoption, awareness, then various type of certifications, various type of approaches, lean approaches, sustainability oriented innovation, technology, so on and so forth. You can really, you name it, you could really put it together. So you can well see this is the robust model that we have come out with. These are all the outcome of our research, and we try to really see it. So you can well see here that we have taken into consideration the sustainability oriented innovation, lean, circular economy field of actions, and the supply chain resilience, and try to really look into the economic performance, environmental and social performance. And in the upstream, we have a digital decision support system. Okay, we have conversion technology. We have external factor like climate change issues. Okay, we could really add pandemic here. Well-being factor. Okay, the market aspect also is very important. So this is the quite robust model, and I think in order to explain that model, it will take hours together, and we can keep on discussing on that. But I will summarize by giving you the theoretical and practical implication of the work that we have undertaken through, and I try to really explain it in 1 hour, that the work and the quantum of work and the spread of work that we have undertaken across the continent. Okay, where mainly we try to really link with all our work that we are undertaking for converting the raw material to the finished product, and making these things in a closed loop supply chain so as to really reduce the carbon footprint as much as possible, okay, to contribute to the reducing the global warming. Okay, trying to really look into the by measuring the sustainability performance. So we could really look into the role of technology. Okay, role of technology, not only in the conversion part, not only on the what type of energy we use it, renewable energy instead of the fossil fuel energy produced from the fossil fuel. Okay, but also how effectively we can use the digital decision support system through using the upcoming technology. I call it technological push. We have now Industry 4.0, okay, Internet of Things, blockchains, then the artificial intelligence. So how we could really adopt it and make the right decision. Okay, understand the various scenarios, model our strategic decision requirement, planning decision requirement, operational decision requirement. Okay, capacity planning. How could we really use them? Could we really use a dashboard to measure our carbon footprint along with the measure, link it with the productivity and sustainability? So that's the thing we are getting at. And how could we really reduce it at the end? How could we really increase the morale of the people? That's very important aspect, leadership aspect. Okay, how do we look into our product characteristics, demand characteristics, implied demand uncertainties I have written here. I'm sure that you could really make out, because market is constantly changing. Implied demand uncertainties, our product is constantly moving. So how could we really make your supply chain resilience? We know that pandemic has taught us to really be resilient. Okay, resilience not only with respect to our drivers only, which I have written here, like facility, transportation, inventory, information sourcing, but also people's resilience. Okay, facility resilience, then resilience in the production process, operations process, logistics process, supply chain as a whole, product as a whole. Okay, textile companies are producing masks. Okay, chemical companies are producing oxygen cylinder. So that sort of resilience is very important. Okay, it depends on, and more resilient you are, better would be. But you might be sacrificing the efficiency. But how do you really adjust it? Okay, what are the role the government must play? What are the role customer must play? So that sort of things are really very important. That's the thing, that's the theoretical thing I would like you to really take away and think of, and all my paper and the papers in the pipeline forthcoming would be addressing that. Okay, so happy to really work with you, share your thought, etc. In conclusion, what I would say that what we have seen, and in terms of the practical implication of the work that we are doing, there is a role of small and medium-sized enterprises. Okay, they require to really be motivated. There is a role of from the government perspective. There is a role from the supplier perspective. SME must need to really look into from the life cycle perspective. Okay, they require to really think of how well-being and the environmental measures. They should not only talk about the cost, capital cost, and the operating cost of the environmental measures as well as social measure, but they require to really think of, if they do not have it, what would be the cost for that? Life cycle costing and understanding the cost of not having environmental measures and well-being, and integrating with their customers and suppliers and the policymakers is important here. And policymaker must come forward with capital funding if possible, okay, within the budget system, and that will really work. So I will thank you for your attention. What I tried to really do in last 1 hour or a half, we try to really understand not only the circular economy as a topic, but also how to undertake research in a very impactful environment, and how do we really collaborate with industry and academia. Thank you very much for your attention, and sorry for taking a bit longer. So we have around 10 minutes to interact, but I'm happy to really address your questions. You can email me as well. And my apology for rushing through, as I cautioned you at the beginning. Thank you for your attention.
So professor is there for taking questions, 1 or 2 questions probably, because the next session is lined up. But in any case, we would not remain deprived of having queries settled down, if at all any. So quick questions, if any of you are having. Professor, by then I would just like to appreciate that in a program like this, where we have around 100+ faculty members from all across the country, and it's a very unique topic, and coincidentally this topic matches to my research area also. So I had done my own PhD in the productivity improvement of small and medium enterprises. One of my students whom you have evaluated is also sitting here. He also worked in the similar area. But this is something, a new concept that you have shared today, that is about technology for circular economy. And it's a wonderful insight for all of us, those who are having similarity in our research areas. Even if not similarity, then the concept of circular economy is applicable to almost each and every sector of the life, of the profession. So a great session, sir. It's really, I'm very much obliged to you for your agreeing. I know, because we have been discussing at length for 2-3 times on phone, and I realize that you are carrying in a lot of your own engagements, but then you took time out for this. So I'm really very thankful to you, Professor, and look
Pleasure.
forward to see longer association in future also.
Pleasure.
So if fine, then with your permission, we can call it a session, so that the student can take 5 minutes break and come for next session. So yeah, Professor Day, I have Professor PM Mishra also, who has just joined, whose camera is on. We too are organizing this course. Yeah,
That's
he
great.
was in some other meeting right now, so yeah. So Professor Mishra, this course is this session is over now. So I have already extended my sincere thanks to Professor Day. Thank you, participants. Now you are requested to please fill in the feedback form that you have already been sent, so that it will reach to us, and we'll start our next session at 5 o'clock sharp. Thank you very much, sir.
There's a,
Professor Day,
there's
thanks a
a
lot.
very, very sincere thanks to you on behalf of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Bhopal, that you spent your precious time for us, and we are highly obliged. And we will be having future associations also. And because Dr. Vimlesh Kumar Soni sir and myself is both the area is same, industrial and system engineering. So for future associations also we will be having with you. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
I'll remain in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.